Hey Jacket Nation, this is Sadie Cook with the Lebanon R3 School District bringing you your weekly Buzz Report with Lebanon Now and Ozark Fiber Studios. We're kicking off this week's episode by chatting with our Director of Alternative Programs, Mr. James Wapp, as we celebrate 26 years of alternative education in Lebanon R3 schools. So James, thank you for being here. Can you just start off by telling everybody a little bit about how you got to Hillcrest Education Center and just more about you?
Sure. So this is year, I think, 16 in education for me. This is year 5 serving as the Director of Alternative Programs for the district. And I started my career in Springfield Public Schools and got into a position called Coordinator of Site Intervention, which was created to help at-risk middle school students persevere and stay engaged with school as they transition to high school and prepare for graduation. And so that really started my journey, really working with at-risk students. And then I came to Lebanon for 1 year at LHS as the A+ coordinator and an assistant principal. And then I got a call that, hey, there was a position open at Conway. And so I went to Conway High School for 3 years as high school principal there. And then this position came open, and it was one that really intrigued me to have an opportunity to really deal with an aspect of education that sometimes has some stereotypes about it, but really create unique opportunities for some of our most at-risk students.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you just really have a passion for those students and you just want to help them, steer them in the right direction. So for those who may not exactly know what alternative education is, can you kind of explain it a little bit?
Yeah, so alternative education sometimes, as I said, kind of has a stereotype of, well, that might be where students who get in trouble go. And really, alternative education was created here in Lebanon schools and in other districts as well, really as an individualized program to help students overcome barriers and get to graduation. So whether that's their being credit deficient or behind in their classes or other barriers like homelessness or substance abuse, it's really there to help fill in gaps both socially, economically, and educationally for students.
Man, that is so powerful. So I know that Hillcrest Education Center has gone through some transformations throughout the year. So can you kind of tell us what those have been?
Sure. Well, the program started 26 years ago, like you said. We just completed year number 25. And awesome. It was a need that many schools saw across the country in the late 90s, early 2000s. Overall, the graduation rate nationwide was in the 70s and 80%. And we were missing too many students. And in the economy and the world that is where it is now, they recognize the need that students should have an opportunity to really not only meet the requirements for graduation, but have an opportunity to build the skills they need to be successful. And so it started as the Lebanon Alternative Education Center, LAEC, and was housed just a few blocks from the high school. And then when the new middle school was built, Hillcrest was a vacant building, and so the program moved into the Hillcrest Education Center, in which currently houses our alternative high school and our community-based instruction program.
That's awesome. So next, I just kind of want to talk about some of the supports that students receive at Hillcrest Education Center. What do you guys kind of take students through from the very beginning of the school year?
So we are all about helping students develop self-advocacy, self-confidence in their own abilities, not only academically, but really to be successful in life. And so when a student comes in, we are working as a team. Teamwork is a big component of our staff. We're a small staff, but we also are there to provide intentional interventions for students. So we look at what are their needs. Is it an academic need? Where can we close some gaps or help them get caught up? We really kind of look at it through the lens of helping students develop answers to the questions of who am I, where am I going, and how am I going to get there? And so really that kind of self-discovery of what are their personal interests, what are their personal strengths, and then where are they going to go. I say it every time I have the chance. Our goal for students is they're going to be employed, enrolled, or enlisted when they graduate. We want them to be an engaged community member, whether that's in a technical school or college or the military or in our local workforce. And so that's the where am I going phase. And then we really work with how do I get there? What do I need to do to make sure that when I walk across the stage, get my diploma, I'm ready to fulfill all those.
That's amazing. So I know that I've heard you kind of talk about this before. So you you want to make sure that they are employed or they have a plan after graduation. How do you guys check up on it? Do you follow through? Is there any kind of follow through?
So we do. So at Hillcrest, we have a project-based learning opportunity called Sparks. And one of the Sparks that we force kids to do is called our Senior Spark, where in their last semester with us before graduation, they have to go through a rubric and essentially answer those 3 questions of what have they discovered about themselves, where are they going, and how are they going to get there. And so they have to present that to us, and then we have some supports. We have a program called Jobs for America's Graduates, or JAG, and that is a competency-based curriculum all about job attainment, career development, personal discovery, leadership, workplace skills. And so students that have gone through that portion of our alternative program not only have shown mastery in those, but then Coach Johnson, our JAG specialist, has to follow up with them every month for a full year after they graduate. So we are keeping track of our students in that capacity for a full year after graduation.
That's awesome.
And then through community-based instruction is a little different. CBI is a program for students. They're there because they're wanting to live and function independently after they graduate. And so they're working on those same goals through their individualized education plan, and our teachers monitor those goals. And then we actually work with a service called Pre-Employment Transitional Services. It's through the University of Missouri, and so those students receive support from Roger Moore, a former Lebanon Yellow Jacket.
Awesome.
He comes in and he starts working with kids on similar skills of JAG, interview, building a resume, how to handle situations in the workplace, and then when they graduate, those students can transition to further supports through that program.
That is so awesome. So one thing that you kind of mentioned earlier is your staff. And your staff has such a legacy of being so supportive, and they're kind of hard on the kids too. Like they make sure that they're doing what they need to do to succeed post-graduation. And one thing that I thought was so cool is we made a post earlier this week just recognizing Hillcrest for its 26 years in our district, and there were so many people who commented underneath that post with the amazing staff who are retired now, but you just see through the years how your staff has been so supportive and so great for kids and students, and even former students were saying this program changed my life. And so I just thought that was really cool to see former students coming back to say this program did so much for me and set me up.
And that's one of the neat things. I say I have one of the best staffs in the world. Like you said, they're very adaptable. They're willing to adjust and do what really kids need to do. We have schedules, we have plans every day. We know where kids should be going, but we are also very flexible, talking about the vision and mission of Lebanon R3 schools, of being able to adapt and provide whatever services we can for a student on any given day while still meeting all the graduation requirements and academic side of things. But the program did start with 3 teachers as Lebanon Alternative Education Center, and now currently in our building we have 8 teachers and 3 paraprofessionals, and we have just under 100 students in the building every day from the high school at Hillcrest.
That's awesome. So did you say, are all students required to do CBI, or is it just a portion?
So there are 2 different programs, yeah. So the reason it was called Hillcrest Education Center it is a multi-purpose building. We have several different programs. We have the alternative high school. We also have the community-based instruction. And then we also have our alternative suspension center. And so it functions with a lot of different programs. We just didn't really want to, I say that as if I was the one who made that decision, but really kind of moving away from the alternative education center into something that could be very adaptable and flexible to meet the needs of the district and the community as we move forward.
That's awesome. So how have you seen the community really take part in transforming CBI and student growth?
So, and I hate to do this because I know I'll miss some community partners, but we have a really strong, dedicated group of community partners who are willing to let our students come into their places of employment to get those real world learning experiences. And so, I can start naming them, and we have Nancy over at Taste of Andy's, Two Fish Marine, Lebanon R3 Maintenance and Food Service, City of Lebanon, the City of Lebanon Parks Department, Missouri Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Conservation, and so many. And I know I'm going to miss some, but really those are the cornerstone of our CBI program, where we can get students out in the real world, building those employability skills, working on things that'll update their resume, so when they do go out into the competitive employment market here in Lebanon, they're ready to take on jobs. And we're always getting feedback from our partners, and we're always looking for additional partners. One that we haven't really worked with, I would say, consistently, but we had a student who was really interested in doing kind of office and clerical type work, and we didn't have a partner in place at the time, so we used a function, Mr. Bill, who does our mail service for LR3. We kind of put him in there, and then Page Printing approached us and said, hey, do you have any students who could be trained to fix copy machines? No. So we got that student connected with Page Printing, and his senior year, he would go there and do his work experience, and then after school would go there and actually work for them. And so those are the kind of partnerships we're always looking to help enhance our programs. Then when you think about our alternative high school program with JAG, we're always looking for partners for job shadowing experiences. We do mock interviews with our students to develop those employability skills. So we're always looking for community members or organizations to come and be a part of that.
Well, we really are so grateful for all of our community partners, not just at Hillcrest, but all the way around for Lebanon R3 School District. So if somebody wants to get involved, another community partner, how would they get in contact with you or start that process?
Well, they can go to our new website, and my contact information is there, and just if you want to reach out through email would be the best way, and then I can connect them to whatever program, whether that's community-based instruction or our JAG program, and we'd love to get more partners.
Great, awesome. So the last question I really have is, after 26 years of having this awesome program at Lebanon School District, I know you haven't been here all 26 years, but what would you say you're most proud of at this point?
You touched on it when we highlighted that post. That actually came up in a program called Human Resource Development Center. It's a nonprofit we have through our program, and Don Anderson from Durham, that has been one of our longest serving community partners through that program. When we actually started kind of looking at the years and talking about the meeting, he goes, this program's been around for 25 years. That's incredible. And so when you shared that post and shared that information, seeing that response from former students, from former parents, from former staff, that's what I would say is a big success of the program. But really, the other success is when the students share with us, when we've built those relationships, and we've helped them overcome those barriers and graduate, and then they come back several years later and share life with us. Hey, here's where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. I've started this family. That's really the things you can't measure, and the things that people really get into education for is those connections.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else that you kind of want to touch on about Hillcrest Education Center, alternative education?
Well, you threw me off on that one.
No, I'm sorry.
Make sure I hit everything I wanted to hit.
And you kind of touched on JAG earlier too, but I mean, that has been also a great program. We've had students who have qualified nationally and placed nationally in those skills that they're learning through JAG.
So one of probably the biggest transformations since I've been there has been our Jobs for America's program, JAG. It started 8 years ago. We're in year 9 right now. And like I said, it's a competency base. So it is really working with students on honing their career skills, their self-advocacy skills, their workplace skills. And so to have students from our program who do have barriers or do have struggles, when they go to the state level competition, JAG is not just an alternative school program. There are regular high schools. And so 500 students from the state of Missouri will go to Jeff City and compete. And every year we've had a student place in the top 3 in one of those competitions, in which then they get a trip to the national competition. And for the national competition, it has been around this is year 5. We've had 2 students place nationally in career prep or prepared speaking. And that is a big testament to the JAG program itself, but also our program at Hillcrest.
Yes, for sure. Even one was last year, right?
Yeah, so last year Addison King, she's back as a senior this year, but she placed 3rd in career prep, which she has to give a presentation on a career that she would like to do, and there's certain requirements, but her career she chose was social work, and so she went to state, placed 3rd, went to nationals, and ended up placing 5th at the national level.
Yep. Yeah, so proud of her
Absolutely.
and so many other students who are doing great things at Hillcrest. So that's really all I had today.
All right.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
James
you.
so much for
Appreciate it.
coming on to Lebanon Now and Ozark Fiber Studios with us. And it's so great to hear more about Hillcrest Education Center and alternative education as a whole.